I liked the second episode better, I think. Not much to bitch about, except again, George R. Martin's weird obsession with switcheroo-type plots or assassinations, because this is definitely him. And in his style of writing, like, how can I take a plot and twist it around into some winding paths to make it like literary Sudoku that the reader has to untangle? And then once they untangle it, they're gonna think me such a genius for coming up with it. Like, one time, I'm gonna have twins fighting on different sides so that nobody can tell which one of the twins is the killer. And then I'm gonna have an assassin try to guess a baby's gender, or I'm gonna have, like, an old lady poison a king in the following genius manner. So she wants to kill him without being suspected. Okay, she's gonna take some fucking poison, have it be embedded in a fucking hairnet, then she's gonna have it be given by some unrelated drunk moron to some unrelated girl, so that the girl can wear the hairnet on her head during a wedding, at which wedding Olenna is gonna pluck a poison pill from the girl's hairnet and then dump it in the king's chalice. So, can someone explain to me, because maybe I'm stupid, but I'd like to know, had Olenna decided to just put the poison pill in, like, her fucking pocket or something, and then dumped it in the king's wine? Would there have been any difference in the outcome? Because in both fucking cases, she was the one who put the pill in the wine, wasn't she? Why the hell did she have to have multiple mediators carry the poison around before she took it and dumped it in the cup by herself anyway? And yeah, you might say she did it so that she could frame Sansa and whatever, and escape any suspicion, but if you think about it, who the hell would have suspected her anyway? And Cersei would have automatically assumed that it was Sansa and Tyrion. So it seems to me that George R. Martin just wanted to kind of extend the conspiracy to other people in order to make it seemingly more complicated. But you see, when you figure out the motive for this writing style, which in this case is just literary flack and no actual logic whatsoever, it suddenly does not look genius, it just looks pointless. Because you can see through his way of thinking. I can just imagine him sitting there going, oh, okay, now I gotta do this book more interesting. Oh, I know, they're gonna poison the king, but oh, that's boring. Let's hide the poison in some interesting way. Oh, I know, I'm gonna put it in the hairnet, and 5 different people are gonna carry it. Ooh, I'm so complicated. Ooh, they're gonna think I'm a genius. Again, maybe I'm just stupid, I don't get it. I don't claim to be smarter than freaking George R. Martin. I'm just saying it doesn't make much sense to me, other than just him trying to make it more interesting, and omitting to notice the lack of practicality. Anyway, so now every time I see something like this, I'm really not impressed by it, like this twin stuff. We have the twin assassin switcheroo, and it's supposed to be cunning and brilliant. Okay, so you wanna tell me that the guards at the gate knew that the loyal twin was inside, and then they see his lookalike at the gate, and knowing the loyal guy has an actual twin, they let him in without suspicion, given that they already wondered as to how they thought he had already gone inside. And then he goes inside and sneaks behind columns and stuff, and his brother barely misses him as he moves around behind a pillar to avoid him. And you wanna tell me that he fucking makes a step with all this metal on him, and does so without any of the armor clanking or making a noise? So that his brother, who's literally a meter away, does not hear a fucking thing? And I know I'm being picky, but this really takes me out of the story. This is some Season 8 level stuff. You never ever would have seen something that buffoonish in the first Game of Thrones season. Anyway, there's stuff that I really liked in this episode as well, and I'm gonna mention the biggest one I can think of. They really go out of their way to show the contrast between the personal relationships within the two families. On the one hand, you've got Rhaenyra and her kids, who are honest, have a genuine sense of love and honor, and are not ashamed to show their emotions. Like, my top favorite thing in the previous episode was this heartbreaking scene with Rhaenyra and her son just grieving for the kid that died last season. You have her grown-ass son, who nevertheless just breaks down and sobs, and she just gets up and gives him a big hug because she's a good mom. And it absolutely made me tear up with them, because I resonate with them through my own experience. And then on the other hand, you've got the Hightowers, who are the definition of dysfunction. There's the patriarch of the fucking family, who when his daughter starts to feel close to him, and she opens up to him and tries to share, the dipshit tells her he doesn't want to know, and she walks out cold and hurt. And then what does she do? She goes to her son's room, and her son is breaking apart from sorrow. And she, like a true father's daughter, just thinks fuck it and walks out. The husband then in good turn avoids his wife's sorrow, and then another traumatized and love-starved kid finds his mommy fetish in a prostitute. They're just such a horrible tragedy of a family, and I resonate with them too. Don't let me explain why. And this is the kind of quality that I'd like to have in my art. I just want it to resonate with me and make me reflect on my own experiences. This kind of art has the purpose of a deep mirror and reflection, be it on your outer world or your inner one. This kind of art, and maybe every kind of art, should have the ability to speak to you and tell you things that you otherwise cannot verbalize on your own. As someone said that music is the language of the gods, I like to say that art is the language of the soul. It speaks to you and tells you the most profound things that would otherwise be unknowable to you, even if someone managed to explain them to you properly. Sheer explanation, no matter how perfectly worded, might not affect you because it misses a vital element: emotion. And art, when it explains things to you, it does it with emotion. And this way the message is not only much more accessible to the mind, but it also sticks much better. So yeah, what I was trying to say is basically, I'm a sucker for the emotional and psychological scenes when they are done right. And in this episode, they absolutely were.